Okay, so 4.5 ends up. The first thing I guess we'll talk about is 4.5 is about scatter plots, and scatter plots are basically graphs that are made up of lots of individual points. Now, sometimes when you make a scatter plot, the points are, they can be all over the place. But sometimes these points kind of somewhat form a line. And so when they form a line, then that kind of means that there's a correlation between the numbers. So this imaginary line, that the points kind of make, has two different names. The name that I've learned is called the line of best fit. And I believe that's the name that's in your textbook. But then it also can be called a trend line, because a trend line is kind of probably the term that they use in actual businesses. Now, if your points from the scatter plot are going in the upper, go to the upper right. This would be called a positive correlation. And a positive correlation would be something like let's say you're going on a bike ride, and the amount of miles that you bike would kind of go together with the distance that you biked. Oh God, that was dumb. Time. Let's pretend that I didn't write that. Hours. That's what I was thinking in my head. I wrote distance. So, like say you only bike a half a mile. Well, it's only going to take you a little bit of time, like 10 minutes, like 0.1 hours. Something like that. But if you bike lots of miles, it's going to take lots of hours. That would be like a positive correlation. If your points in your scatter plot all kind of go pointing to the bottom right, this is going to be called a negative correlation. Here, let me move this up. This is going to be called a negative correlation. Now, this basically means your information is opposite of each other. So, the amount of gas in your car's gas tank and the amount of miles driven. Okay? So if you have a lot of gas left in your tank, well, then that probably means you haven't driven very far. If you have almost no gas left in your gas tank, well, then that probably would mean that you drove a lot of miles. So those would be a negative correlation. The two things that you are discussing are opposite of each other. And then there's a third situation in which the points you have up here don't make any kind of line and don't go together. So this would be called no correlation. Now, that happens when the two pieces of information that you're comparing have nothing to do with each other. Like your eye color and your height. I suppose that was a bad example because eye color is not a number. Here, let me change it. Your ACT score. Your ACT score and your height have nothing to do with each other. You're comparing two numbers that don't mean anything. So this is called correlation. This is the all 4.5. It basically takes longer to write than it does to do anything with it. Does anybody have any questions on anything I have up there? Maybe I wrote too horrible and you can't even read it. I don't know. Okay, I get that you guys are being quiet because some of you are in the classroom and you don't want to speak up. Do know that I'm really counting on you guys participating when you're at home. And there's no reason to feel awkward. Yeah, I know. It's okay if you don't have a question. But classes just, they lose a lot of meaning if you just basically sit there and watch. And it's the sole reason that a lot of virtual classes fail. Like, the classes themselves don't do well. It's because you feel sort of anonymous, and you take yourself out of the situation, and you kind of just sit there and watch, and you don't learn very well that way. And it's the reason that a lot of virtual classes don't do well. Okay, well, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to do the chapter review. And obviously we probably won't do the entire thing together. Honestly, though, I don't really care. We can do the entire thing together if you want. Do you guys have a preference? Do you want me to do like half of it with you? Do you want me to do the whole thing with you? It pretty much just depends how long you guys want to do this. Your test will be Tuesday. Full thing. Okay, so Logan thinks full thing. All right, we have one opinion. We'll go with that for now. If we see that it's taking a long time, then we'll start skipping stuff. All right, let's do number 1 together. Oh, I don't lose my voice. Alex says half thing. She's had enough of me already. Let's go with Caroline. Caroline, can you help me with number 1? I don't know if you can read it okay or if you have it open on your screen. Do you remember how to find the domain?
Write down the domain.
Yeah, just tell me what numbers, yeah.
-2, -1, 0, 1, and 2.
Excellent. How about range?
4, 1, 0, 1, 4.
Okay, true. If you guys write this, I'll mark it correct. It's not wrong. Usually what happens is the preference is to write them in order and then to not write duplicates. So probably if this is multiple choice, you would see 0, 1, 4. Okay, and the last thing, do you remember if it's a function or not?
Yes.
Do you remember how to tell? I can help you along if you want. So what most people do is they look at the x values first. If the x values are all different, it's automatically a function. So I guess we'll start off with, are all the x's different?
Yeah.
Yeah. Automatically it's a function. So, good. Nicely done. Number 2 is going to be a no, and it's easier to tell when the answer's a no. So I'll have the next person kind of help me with the no. So nice job, Caroline. Thank you. Cullen, how about you? Do you think you can help me with 2?
Sure.
Okay. How about domain?
-4, -2, 0, -2, -4.
Perfect. And then I didn't write the last 2 because they were duplicates. Okay, range?
4, 2, 0, -2, -4.
Good. Is this one a function? I kind of already answered it, but do you know why it's not a function?
No.
Okay. So if you have duplicate x values that have different answers. Oh, shoot, I circled that one. If you have duplicate x values that have different answers, then that is going to be no. That's why this one is not a function. So the example I used in class was I talked about like a keyboard. Like if you hit the K key, the only thing you want to happen is the letter K to show up on screen. But if you hit the K key multiple times and different letters pop up, that's called not a function because something happens differently, like a different expectation of the result. The inputs and outputs, but that part doesn't matter. Okay, thank you, Cullen. Alex, do you want to help me with 3 or 4?
I'll do 3.
Okay. And I can help you with any part of this if you want help with it. How about domain?
Do I look at the points?
Yep. So
Okay.
the domain is just going to be the x values. So you would look at where they are left and right only.
Okay, so I think
3, yep.
-4.
Nope.
Even on the left.
Yeah, so these points on the left, that's -1.
Oh, that's -1.
Yep. So -1 and 3 are the only x values.
Yeah.
And then range is going to be all the different heights.
Yeah, so range is going to be +2, -3, and -4.
Good. -5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure for you. I'm sure for you, it's like super small, right? Okay. Do you remember how to tell from a picture if it's a function or not?
No. But can I just use the x value?
Sure. Yeah, you could think of it as numbers if you want.
So wouldn't it yes be a function?
It's a no.
Because they're all
Oh, all the x's aren't the same. So if
yeah. So they're
yeah,
they are the same.
if I wrote all the x values, it would be -1, -1, 3, 3, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not all the same. On a picture, a lot of times people do the vertical line test. And if you hold the line straight up and down, if it goes through more than one point, it's not a function.
So if the x values are the same, then it's not a function.
Yeah, if you have duplicate x values that have different answers.
Okay.
So like the point 3, 2, the point 3, -3, and then the point 3, -5. They all have different answers, so that's why it's not a function. Yeah. Nope, that's perfect. That's why I wanted to do this review, because there's lots of different ways to answer these same questions. Olivia, let's try number 6.
So we're graphing it, right?
Yeah, and you can kind of just describe to me how to do it. You don't have to like give me every little step. So it says candy bars are $1.50 each. X represents the number of bars. Y is the amount of money. It says graph the cost of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candy bars. How would I go about doing that? How much would one candy bar be?
$1.50.
Okay, so I would put the point at 1.5.
Yeah.
2 candy bars is
3.
3. Yep. 3, 4.5. 4, 6. 5, 7.5. 6, 9. Basically, you go up 1.5 squares each time. Okay. Do you remember the difference between these two? Discrete and continuous?
Continuous, is that where it like goes like in a row or in the same line?
Yeah. Makes like a line, correct. Oh, I shouldn't say makes a line for this one because these points go in a line. Solid line. Okay, so this one is discrete because they are separate points. But you are correct. Continuous is kind of the word that most people know. Good. Very good. Sophie, let's have you go next. Do you have a preference on what kind of question you want to do up on the screen?
Oh, no.
Okay. Let's go with 7 then. How's that?
Okay.
Plumber, I don't know if you can read it okay. It says a plumber charges $75 for parts plus $50 per hour. Write an equation talking about how much money it would cost you to hire the plumber.
Would it be 75 plus 58?
Perfect. Correct. The 75 is a number that doesn't change. And then the $50 per hour changes depending on how many hours. Good. Very good. Find the cost for 5 hours. So what would I do for that? You don't have to tell me the number, just what would I do?
Divide both sides by 50. Yeah. Find the cost for 5 hours.
Yeah. So why would I do, how about this? Why would I do 75 plus 50 times 5? Why am I putting the 5 there?
You're putting the amount of hours in place for H.
Perfect. H kind of stands for hours, so we put 5 in place of the hours. So that would be $250, $325. Good. Very good. Jack. Uh, 8 through 15. Can you read them okay, or should I zoom in? Jack, are you there?
They're fine.
There you are. Okay, good. So let's just do number 8 because they're kind of all the same. How do I find f of negative 2?
You sub negative 2 in for x.
Okay, good. So what would I write to get that?
Negative 2 times negative 2.
Plus 10. Yep. Excellent. Excellent. That's it. Caleb. This one's actually kind of a tough one. Do you know how to figure out the equation from this table? I say this was a tough one because this one has 2 things happening to it. Do you want me to kind of help you out with it?
I know it already.
Oh, all right.
It's times 2 plus 1.
Nice. How'd you figure that out so quick? Did you just kind of know it? You just kind of knew it? Okay.
Yes.
Good. Very good. Here's kind of the way I would approach it. going from, so 0, 1, 2, 3 are all in a row. These on the right-hand side go up by 2. So that's the 2x. And then at 0, it's 1 bigger. So that's the plus 1. However you saw it, Caleb, nice job. That was a tough one. When it has two things going with it, that can definitely be tougher to figure out. Garrett.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's a great reminder for me to shut off my phone. On 17 or 18, do you have a preference for which one's easier?
No.
Okay. Let's do 17.
Okay. You put -6, -2, 0, 4, and 10 in like the X column.
Yeah, perfect. The only reason you knew to put those numbers in was because it told you. If it didn't tell you what numbers to use, what numbers would you probably pick? Why -101? Wait. Oh, you didn't show up yesterday, did you?
No.
Okay.
I just watched the video.
Okay. So yesterday we picked these numbers because they're the easiest.
Okay.
That's the only reason. You're correct though. We were told what numbers to use, so that's why you use them. Okay. How do I find the answers?
And then you plug the x's in to the equation, y equals x minus 4.
Good. So -6 minus 4, -2 minus 4, 0 minus 4, 4 minus 4, 10 minus 4. And then just quickly tell me how to do like one of these numbers, and then I'll just kind of put them up.
For the first one, you just go left 6, then down 10.
Perfect. It's the point -6, -10. And I'll tell you right now that these squares are way too small for me to actually be able to see, to be able to count 6 and 10. Wow. That is super hard to read on a monitor. 2, maybe? Oh, it's 40. Whoops. That's not a point. And then 10, 6. Holy cow, that's hard to read. Yeah, I mean, you guys know how to do it. So on the actual test on Tuesday, just so you guys know, it's going to be set up so that you're going to take the test in Schoology, and it'll pop up with a picture of a graph, and then you guys are actually just going to use your mouse to put the points on the picture. And so I'm going to correct them from that. So if I remember correctly, the test, most of it is going to be taken in Schoology. I'll still have you guys write down your work on paper and turn that in. And I'm assuming you guys know, if you've been looking at the grades, that when you guys turn in the work for the test, it basically counts as 1 extra credit point on the test for you guys. Because I would like to see your work. Let's do a mapping. Has anybody not gone? Olivia? No. Did you go yet, Olivia?
Yeah.
Oh, Logan, I don't think I've colored you yet then.
You haven't.
All right. How about a mapping one? Let's do the one on the left. I don't know, they're pretty much the same.
I guess put the 4, put 1, 4 on the left on the X one, put a 5 and a -5.
Okay. Preferably in order, but that's fine. On the Y category, what do I put?
A 5, a 6, and a 1.
Yep. And then what do I do with these numbers again?
connect them with a line.
Okay, so 4 goes to 5, 4 goes to 6, 5 goes to 6, so that was a bad line, negative 5 goes to 1. And then lastly, this question isn't asked. Do you remember how to tell if it's a function from a map? Kind of throwing you here a loop here. Or how about this? Can you tell me why this is not a function?
Because the 4 has 2 values, or y values.
Perfect. The 4 has 2 arrows coming out of it, so it is not a function. Nice. This one's actually answered for you. I think this is the question on the concept check for you for today in 4.5, or maybe it was yesterday. That would have been yesterday, so that would have been 4.4. It basically has 3 graphs, and then you're supposed to try to match up the situation to the graph. So this one tells you to match it with the graph, but it's done. Like, those are the answers. So, like, this first one is basically like lifting it, getting tired, lifting again, getting tired, lifting again. So you're pausing and taking breaks. B, a straight line, means that you're raising the rope hand over hand, doing it continually at the same speed. C, this is like raising it super fast, and then you ran out of juice, and then you've got to raise it really slow for the rest of the way because you're too tired. Now, this is from today's. So this is basically like the questions you're going to get in today's work. So, honestly, I kind of think it would work well if we just did all these together, because then it's kind of like doing our homework together. Alex, how about you? Do you want to start us off?
She's in the bathroom right now.
Oh. All right, Jack, I appreciate that. It would have been an awkward wait, huh? Let's go with Sophie.
Okay.
Oh, I know. It's a punishment. I'm sorry.
Are you just like naming like what the plot is, or like what it is?
So
The first one's not no correlation.
that's all you do. How about 2? Let's do 2 of them.
Negative correlation.
Good. Why don't you pick the next person? Or Jack still has his mic open. Let's just go with Jack. How about 3?
Positive.
Good. These are extraordinary questions to get on the test because once you know how to answer them, they are basically free points. How about 4?
Me?
Yep.
Oh, positive.
Same. Good. Why don't you pick the person that's going to do 5 and 6?
Caleb.
Caleb. How about 5? What'd you say?
Negative.
Yeah. And 6?
No.
None. Perfect.
What number 7?
That's a great question. I didn't number these. Where is 7? You know what? I'm going to yell at Mr. Caponigri. That is fantastic, the math class. Let's pretend number 7 is that you have to read the directions. Olivia, can you help me with number 8? Or is there somebody you wanted to call on, Caleb?
Okay.
Okay. Then that means it was Olivia.
Yeah.
Okay, so the number of hours a person has driven and the number of miles driven. So do you know how to kind of go about these, or do you want me to kind of help you with number 8?
Can you help me?
I certainly can. Okay, so what I usually try to do is I usually try to figure out if their answers would be the same or opposite. So if I drive for a lot of hours, would the number of miles driven be a lot or a little?
A lot.
Okay, so since they are the same, my answer for this would be a positive correlation. If the situation would have opposite answers, that would be a negative correlation. Okay, now that I kind of told you how to set up 8, do you think you can do 9?
They're totally different.
Perfect. So that answer would be?
Not.
Good. We could, you know what? No correlation is super long. Let me just write none. I am lazy. None. Nice job. I gave you one that was different from what I even said. Cullen, how about 10? Age of a car and value of a car. And I can help you guys with any of these if you want help with them.
What was the question?
Number 10. So the age of a car and the value of a car, would those be positive correlation, no correlation, or negative correlation?
Negative correlation.
Okay. So basically, if you have an old car, the value of the car is not much. Because their information is opposite, that's a negative correlation. That was perfect. And you guys don't have to write out this little, that's just for you to think in your head. You just have to tell me positive, negative, or none. Garrett, what do you think about 11?
He's also in the bathroom.
Holy cow. You guys have very weak bladders today. Okay, Logan.
Yeah.
11. I thought that was assumed. The next one, yep.
Negative.
That sounds like a question.
I think.
Okay, so if a CD has been out for a long time, so a lot of weeks, would you expect the amount of CDs sold to be very little or to be more?
Oh, actually positive correlation then.
Okay, good. Good. That's kind of how you're supposed to approach it. So, oh God, I got to learn how to spell. It definitely does depend on the CD, Caleb, but you technically can't sell less CDs the longer it's been out. Like, once you buy a CD, you can't sell less of them, so it can't be a negative correlation. So, what you're correct though, Caleb, what you're talking about is a popular CD the correlation would be like a steep line. Justin Bieber Christmas CD, not as popular. So it definitely depends on the CD, but then all that does is it changes what kind of positive correlation. Does he actually have a Christmas CD? Does anybody know this?
Probably.
I mean, he's definitely not, he's not as popular anymore. But I'm sure. Okay. Alex is a fan. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe we'll play this on Spotify later. Okay. I'll stop there. Oh, you know what? And I should apologize. I know not everybody celebrates Christmas. That was just on top of my mind because it's snowing outside right now. I don't know. Do you guys have any other questions from this review? I think we did quite a bit of it, so I think you should have a good start. The test is Tuesday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up on Monday again, So if you guys want to take it right away Monday, you can. I just want you to take it by the end of school day on Tuesday, so like by 4 o'clock on Tuesday. And I'll mention that in class on Monday again, though. So otherwise, you guys have about 40 minutes left. You should easily be able to finish the homework for 4.5 and to finish the review since we've done pretty much all of it.